But when you're baptized, you're also clothed with Christ. You've clothed yourself with Christ. I like this imagery. There was a Christian leader named Christoph. I practiced that at home. Anyway, there's this guy who was real smart way back in the Christian faith. He said something, and doesn't this sound like something a smart guy would say? He who is clothed appears to be that with which he is clothed. Okay, kind of simple, kind of pithy, but smart. This is the idea here, that when you are baptized in Christ, you're also clothed in him. You were clothed with him. And so you now appear as Christ to a lost and a dying world. What do I mean by that, appear as Christ? Well, what I mean is that you are the representation of Christ. Elsewhere, Paul says that we're ambassadors of Christ. We represent him in this world. Well, when you put on the clothes of Christ, you are representing Christ in your everyday walk. It's that old thought that I've shared with you before, that there are 5 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, you. And you are the gospel that some people, you are the only gospel that some people will ever see, ever understand. And so when you are baptized in him and you're made into a full-blown son or a full-blown child, a full-grown child, you are now clothed in him and you represent him. Since we're talking about family, allow me to give you an illustration from family. My son was born a Downing. He is clothed as a Downing, if you will. He was born by natural process, of course, but he is a Downing. Eventually, when he becomes a man, someone might ask, what are the Downings like? And you know what people will say who know Tim? They'll say the Downings are like Timothy. And then they'll go ahead and line that out. Now, it doesn't necessarily matter if Timothy rises to the standard that all Downings have risen to throughout history, or even goes into the shortcomings that all Downings have fallen into throughout all history. What matters is that he is representing the Downings at that time and place. Now, as the family of God, you are the representatives of God. And so there are some great and glorious things that we represent. There are some times when we just shine because of all the good things that God has done in us. And then there are some other times when we fall flat on our face. And that's understandable. But we are called to a standard of holiness and conduct, a standard that is above our natural ability and can only be found in Christ and his family. And so when we are wearing his garments, we must wear them well. We must wear them well. You're his representative.